This is The Drive with Mark Penatelli.
Having fixed the problem, we're back now to seriously do the headlines. Carolina Oliveris, good to see you again. You didn't really leave. You just stayed there the whole time while I was working on this. Thank you. But I hate when that happens. I hate when you think you're ready. You've done everything you can to be ready. You know, I'm not going to say
Let's not
I
act
feel
like preparation is a strong suit of this show.
No, because it's not. And you're right. I should not. But let's face it. When you have the sound effects machine open and it's playing, you're expecting it to work. But sometimes that doesn't happen. The headlines today are brought to you by Taqueria San Luis. Tomorrow is Taco Tuesday, where tacos will be just $1.25. That's right, y'all. 1706 Highway 70, just outside of New Bern. Taqueria San Luis, authentic, delicious food. What? What was that? I was trying to add some flair to the read. Tortas, burritos.
I'll tell you what does have flair. That food over there at Taqueria San Luis. And let me tell you, y'all, it is authentic and it is delicious.
That's what he said. 1706 Highway 70, just outside of New Bern. Taqueria San Luis.
I do love that place. I haven't been there in like a week, like a month, I mean.
Number 4 seed UNCW scored 9 runs in the 5th inning Sunday after a lengthy rain delay to rally past top seed ECU 9-7 in an elimination game at the NCAA Greenville Regional. The Pirates season ends with a 44-18 overall record, while the Seahawks improved to a 39-22 in advance of Monday's regional championship game against number 2 seed South Carolina.
ECU Pirates fans have released a statement on this.
This is stupid! This is absolutely ridiculous!
It is tough. Now, what I love is the pettiness between fans. So let's use our fans. NC State lost on, and by the way, ECU won their opening game on Friday. Mm-hmm. Nice win, beat UNC Wilmington, the team that would eventually eliminate them a few days later. NC State lost their opener against Army.
Army, yep, lost 5-1 Friday night.
Lost 5-1 Friday night to Army. And our very own and ECU baseball diehard Kyle Gaskins was all in the Twitter world, all over, right?
Yes. So Kyle, and so this set up my weekend, and this is why I am particularly enjoying the misery of the ECU fan today, because yes, I cheer for NC State baseball, I guess, as a NC State fan, but I think I've made it known that when it comes to like the totem pole and hierarchy of sports, I love hockey more than I love college baseball, and I still haven't watched a minute of hockey this season, despite being into game 3 or 4 or 5. I don't even know where we are in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Game 4.
So Kyle, who I love, Kyle, good friend of mine, great colleague, tweets out Friday night after NC State loses, retweets a story about the game, and just says, "You just hate to see it." And I got a little smile on my face because I said, Kyle, if you're getting comfortable, I'm just warning you. Bad things are going to happen. Our friend Kyle Gaskins has been silent on Twitter for the past 24 hours.
Silent.
Completely silent. Twitter dark. Kyle Gaskins, I cannot wait to talk to him tomorrow.
Season is over for ECU baseball. Season is over for NC State baseball as well.
Yeah, I don't care.
But you weren't up there in the Twitter world. Right? And again, you don't tweet out any of that stuff, especially on opening night of the regional, when you could lose in the following, as ECU did in the following days. I think it's tough. You and I were talking about the records before the show today. They've lost 59 postseason games. They've won 36. This ECU Pirate baseball team tells me, one, they get into the postseason a lot, and it tells me they lose a lot. And I know that's part of the thing. Get into a lot of postseasons, can't get to Omaha. And now add this team into the latest collection of guys that just talented, win a lot of games. Was it 44-18? That's a great record. But in the end, that's ultimately the, if Virginia basketball is known for great regular season, loses early in the NCAA tournament, then it's fair to say ECU baseball wins a lot of regular season games, loses early in the tournament. That's not me being anti-ECU. That's you kind of are what your identity is, and right now that's their identity.
Yeah, I guess that's why I honestly and truthfully, it's why I'm most excited to talk to Kyle, because I want to sort of get the gauge from the ECU fan base on this, because I think. And there has to be some real, like, just sobering realization that, okay, maybe we're not necessarily the baseball powerhouse that we think. Sure, ECU and the American Conference, great baseball conference, great baseball program in Greenville. But when you talk about a season like last year, where coming into the year it was Omaha, 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 and they don't even make the College World Series, and then similar feeling this year, and you get bounced on the first weekend when you had the luxury of hosting your own regional. I feel like now the expectations going forward for Cliff Godwin, that squad, is like, okay, you know, it's kind of like the Toronto Raptors. It's like every single year with the Toronto Raptors, you think this is a really good team. Maybe they have the pieces to put it together, but they never actually do it. And so I wonder if that's the way Pirate fans are going to sort of think from now on. But
let's go back to Kyle for a minute, who also, just being a Carolina Hurricane fan, just enjoyed way too much the Washington Capitals identity of, we win a lot of games in the regular season, but we really stink it up when we get in the playoffs. He wrote a song about it.
he did.
And now his ECU, I mean, we could write a song about them that we could just insert won as many College World Series as my mom Lynn.
Yep.
I mean, same thing. I know we're picking on it.
Yeah.
Tough weekend.
Baseball is just a confusing sport to me, man. I think I've talked to you about this before, and I guess Carolina, you can probably shine some light on this too, because softball, and I mean, you're a big baseball fan too. You're a bigger baseball fan than I am, but baseball is so intriguing to watch and like so hard to comprehend when you have a team that loses. But like when you look at the team that won, it's like, okay, these guys aren't that good too. Baseball is such a game of failure, and that's the thing that always bothers me about baseball, I think, because there's no other sport where, like, if LeBron James was shooting 28% from the field, you would look at LeBron James and say, he is really bad at basketball. But if you're hitting 280, you're a damn good hitter.
Yes.
Baseball's weird, man.
It's a weird, yeah, and yes,
sport.
sometimes the team that looks like, how is that team going to beat that team? How aren't the Washington Nationals not going to win a playoff series with that pitching and the hitting?
And that's what stinks about, I guess, the college baseball format. Like, it's not a series. I think you could probably and truthfully say if you stuck ECU into let's say a 7-game series with any of the teams that they were matched up with in their regional, they probably win the best of 7. But if it's a double elimination, you get to see this team one time, and you just happen to have one of those nights where maybe your star hitter goes 0 for 4, because that's a very common thing. Bryce Harper will have a 3-game stretch where he doesn't get a single hit. And so when you get into playoff format, and I mean essentially just head-to-head do-or-die format, I know it's a double elimination, but it's not a series. It's still a single game, and then you go and you play somewhere else or someone else. It's unfortunate because you don't get a true representation, I don't think, necessarily of what you consistently see. I feel like even if you look at basketball or football, just because of the nature of the sport, more often than not in a head-to-head matchup, whoever's supposed to come out on top is going to come out on top. I know we still have the occasional upset, but I feel like in baseball, and I feel like the format of the College World Series, it allows for more just random upsets.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's
Yeah.
all I'm going to say.
I know what. Like, all the top teams are being eliminated from the college softball World Series, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's sad. It's just tough luck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bad luck, actually.
it is bizarre.
Fake champions.
By Brian Windhorst, ESPN. I was going to say .com. The NBA is planning to experiment with a coaches challenge system on referees' calls during Las Vegas Summer League, according to league sources. Officials are still working on what mechanism coaches will use to trigger a challenge and what the parameters are, but they will not use a flag, sources said. Both the NFL and Major League Baseball have coaches challenge systems.
That to me is the most important part of the story, right?
How do you signal
How
the
do
challenge?
you signal the challenge? Could be a hand signal, right? Right now they use this. This is the uniform code for, hey, I need a timeout. which is interesting. Is that not also when the officials do this, though, it means somebody's going to get the free throw in the ball.
Right.
Right? It's
Yeah,
a
you get
technical
teed
foul.
up.
So what is the best way to, I mean, I was going like they should just go red flag. I think that's great. Just slide it on the floor like that. Should it be a hand gesture? Should it be, I wish it was like a trigger and would like set off like some sort of like immediate like, maybe like coach's challenge.
Yeah, like I want to see like Steve Kerr have to step out onto the court and come like face to face with Joey Crawford, and they have to like do the haka. You know what I mean? Like something just real intense where they're slamming their feet down and doing the haka, and it's some drawn out pageantry. But no, that's you're right. That is the most intriguing part of all of this.
White glove in the pocket. I like what you're saying.
Okay.
White glove in the pocket. You step onto the floor where usually one of the refs usually sets up around the goal and baseline. The other ref will kind of stay up top.
Uh-huh.
You approach that ref that's closest to the coach's bench. You pull the white glove out. You slap the official because he's obviously made a huge mistake, right? It kind of plays off the old
It's a
duel.
gentleman's duel.
You pull out the glove, you slap the official right on the face, and you go, I challenge your call.
I challenge you.
I challenge your call. I think this is the way to go.
You think this is going to affect the game much? I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm curious because it's not like they can say they're not going to be able to challenge foul calls, right? And I feel like we already have a situation where if you think it's out on some person, but it's actually out on the other person, the referee's already reviewed those things. I don't know what they're going to be challenging.
And those only work under 2 minutes. So I'm
Okay.
guessing this could allow it. If you really think that they messed up the call, I'll challenge it so that we can get the ball. Which again, I think if you're a coach, you've got to pick and choose those, because if you only have a certain amount of it's just like in the NFL. If you only have a certain amount of challenges, is it worth it for you to challenge this particular call early in the first quarter? Again, and you were talking, I don't know how many they'll get in a game.
Right.
If you get both of them right, will it be like the NFL where if you get both of them right, we'll give you an extra challenge? Do you like the idea of the coach's challenge?
Yeah, I do like it. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to streamline the game or find ways to make it more accurate. I mean, shoot, I was even reading a story. It was either Friday or Saturday where Rob Manfred is talking about how the MLB is really close to having automated umpires to call balls and strikes. They're trying to find a way to get even that more accurate. And people always talk about, the human factor and the human influence and the human decision making when it comes to refereeing is part of the game. But I really think if you can find a way to make a more perfect system, it's absolutely a good thing. And yeah, challenges in basketball will go a long way to help that.
Humans are inherently flawed, which makes them imperfect. Officiating requires perfection if you want it done right. So having humans make the call is imperfect and totally goes against the idea of what an official should be. Now, I'm with you. I don't want to put umpires out of work, but a strike is a strike and a ball is a ball, and we've seen bad calls.
Mm-hmm.
So
several this weekend in the College World Series.
yes.
Those umpires are awful.
Yes.
Man, you want to talk about just some rookie league, bush league stuff. That is College World Series umpires.
Just terrible. Now, rec league softball umpires are some of the most wonderful people you've ever met.
They really are.
Call balls. Just,
They have to deal with the most crap.
Yeah.
they really
I'm
do.
telling you, man. I've never seen people scream at another human being the way I see people get upset about a call in a kickball game on a Wednesday night at Creekside Park.
Oh, I know what you're talking
I mean,
about.
you're talking red in the face, F-bombs, this and that. And I'm looking at the referee. He's an old PE teacher of mine. I was like, man, I'm really sorry. Like, I don't think this guy knows that we're playing kickball.
Somewhere, I'm pretty sure, sometime, I'll bet you every weekend there is a rec league softball event that ends in an umpire needing to get police escort from the field to the parking lot. I'll bet you. Now, it hasn't happened, thank goodness, here that I've seen yet, but I'll bet you it happens somewhere, at least one place in our country somewhere. There's somebody who's like, all right, bud, I've had enough.
What is the name of the Billy Crystal
You're
movie?
obviously blind and you have no business here, and now I'm going to end your life.
What's the Billy Crystal the Billy Crystal NBA referee movie that you keep telling me to watch? I've got an open night tonight.
Forget Paris.
Forget Paris.
Great
I might
movie.
try to watch that tonight because that to me is just the perfect refereeing movie. Is it all centered around him being a referee, or is there like a love story in there or something?
Yeah, they messed around and put a romantic portion out. And so his wife works for the air. Or no, what I may be telling you too much. I'm
not going to watch it. I'm just saying I'm going to watch it.
No.
So go ahead.
He has a relationship with a woman who works in the airlines industry. And so it's all about them balancing because he's like, he's gone.
Right.
10 months out of the year as a ref. And so anyways, but if you've not seen this, some of the best, like if you've ever thought like a ref took his personal life onto the floor, this happens in the movie and it's fantastic. And it happens to involve Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's retirement game, which was fantastic. So I know I bring it up a million times, at least once a year. I think
it's a great scene. There's a 5-minute YouTube clip that you always make me watch. You're like, have you ever heard of this movie? Billy Crystal's a referee. Oh, it's great. It's
great.
Like, no, Mark, I haven't seen this 18 times before. Show me.
Kareem has this after he gets tossed out of the game. Kareem's like, hey, just because you're having a bad game, don't take it out on me. And he's like, all right, fine, you're out of here. He's like, what? You can't do that. It's my retirement game. Well, maybe you're the first one to say farewell. Referees. I hit it like 8 times.
ESPN. The Philadelphia Phillies have lost 6 of their past 8 games, and after a sweep at the hands of San Francisco Giants, pitcher Jake Arrieta has reached a boiling point. Quote, overall, it's just a really horses series, end quote. Arrieta said after the Phillies 6-1 loss on Sunday. Quote, really bad, end quote. Sunday's loss featured the team's only run scored of the entire series, one driven by Arrieta with a solo homer in the 3rd inning.
Overall,
I don't know why that's funny.
Really series. Really bad. We've had bad defensive shifts. We had a check swing. Kingery should have gone to second on that play. Then they got 3 hits in a row.
I love when this part, right?
Well, we're the worst in the league with shifts, so we need to change that. Copy the best. I don't know. That's not my job. Use your eyes, make an adjustment, and be better.
Who's the best? I don't know.
What I mean, goodness gracious, you have to feel for Arrieta. I understand he got paid, but to go from the Chicago Cubs and the run that the Cubs were on for the the last 4 years essentially of his time there, they were on the up and up, and then ultimately winning the World Series, and then you go to Philadelphia. Have y'all fired? Because I know you're a Phillies fan, Mark. Y'all haven't fired Kapler? Is that his name? Gabe Kapler?
Gabe Kaplan. Yeah. It's Kapler.
Kapler.
I think Gabe Kaplan is an old actor. Jake, I got this, guys. Jake Arrieta, you were kind of heading in the right direction. You were talking about, hey, you signed for all this money, you go to Philadelphia. Listen, man, I don't know if you've checked, but not since, 2010 have the Philadelphia Phillies been really great. Now, mind you, you're 3 games out of first place right now, 3 games back of Atlanta. But that's a mirage. That is oasis in the desert.
That's June baseball. Yeah.
Yes, that is. I mean, you're a game and a half behind Washington. I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Atlanta Braves fans, you're going to hate me on this one too. It's kind of a mirage too. I mean, even if you get in, we were just talking about this, even if you get in the playoffs, you're not beating anybody. And I really don't see Atlanta and Philadelphia making it through the whole summer in first place. I eventually see Washington taking over the division. And Jake, you had to have known this. It's a team that was in, if not last place, the just right close to the basement last year. This was not a good team. They have not been good for a very long time.
Right. It kind of arcs back to the baseball conversation we had just a few minutes ago about baseball being a failure sport. That's almost the beauty. We fuss about baseball being such a long season, but if you stretch it out for 162 games, the team that is the least worst, again, because baseball is a failure sport, always is going to rise. Atlanta had a hot first 2 months of the season. Philly had a hot month and a half of the season. But after a while, everything returns to the norm. Everything returns to the mean, and you're going to see the Washington Nationals in first place at the end of September.
Absolutely. I mean, Jake, I appreciate what you're doing, but I mean, I will say this. He's at least doing what a guy who gets paid that much is supposed to do on a team like that doesn't have the veteran leadership, Sometimes you have to have one of those veteran guys kind of call out the fact that guys aren't pulling their defensive shifts right. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and maybe he feels good about that.
Yeah, he's got a 2.6 ERA this year. He is fine.
Yeah, he's been doing all right. The team, as I said, you're way overachieving right now. But, Jake, relax, man. Is there one more?
No.
Oh, good.
No.
Thank goodness. Well, Carolina, have a
Yes.
good day. I'll see you
You
later
too.
tonight.
Yes, sir.
More softball. Sam, let's take a break.
Let's do it.
All right. Bye now. Well, not bye. We're coming back. Bye you.